Hey everyone, let me know if you can hear me. All right. A little bit of a delay there, but it looks like everyone can hear me. Good to see you all. Good to see Dana Carr, Deborah Hahn, Yvonne Wakefield, Tony Mule, David Moran, Ralph, Stuart Braithwaite, Kiora, Polka Dot Studios, all regulars. Tom, good to see you again. Hannah, great to see you. Philip, great to see you. Alistair, all familiar names. Good. Glad you guys were able to join us this week. David Holstock, good to see you, man. Susan Wilson, wonderful you were able to join us. Klaus, good to see you. Donald Haynes, Chris Bacon, and Bruce. The Bruce is loose. So don't forget to get your drink orders in for Bruce before we start. This is the first class pre-flight, so you get your cocktail. All right. Good to see you, Ken. From Scotland. It's raining in Scotland. What a surprise. That never happens. From Minnetonka, Minnesota. All right. Thanks, Joey. Glad to see you. Hey, David. From England. Glad you could join us. We've got just over a minute and we're going to be kicking off. Venice, Florence, Florida. Why did I say Venice? Venice, Florence. Use your words, Colin. Use your words. Good to see you, Frederick. John, great to see you. Albuquerque, 87 and sunny. Wow, it's a little warm. Not bad, though. And Donald, it's all right. Oh, I'm glad you enjoyed the replay, Donald, and you got something from it. Glad to hear that. Cheryl, hi, how are you? Tracy, in the house. We were worried you wouldn't make it. We got Bob. Good to see you. Anne, hello. All right, we got... Oh, getting close here, guys. All right. I almost missed it. We got to get ready for the countdown. Here we go. 2 seconds. 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, blast off. And hey everyone, I'm glad you could join us this week for Live from Lockdown, and I don't even remember what episode are we, 62 or 63 now? I believe it might be 63 this week, so good to see all you guys. Smiling faces. I figured this week we're going to just focus a little bit more on Fix My Photo. We're going to keep it a little more intimate, so I actually didn't send out any email notifications and also didn't share it on social media or anything. So literally, we just went live with just the group that's going to be here. So we're definitely going to be the cafe crew this week. So a lot of the regulars... So pretty much it's all going to be regulars. If you're new here, just drop a comment and tell everyone, hi, I'm new, and you will be welcome. We have a very friendly bunch of group of people. I'm sorry, my brain is not quite, I'll just be 100% with you guys. I'm not feeling quite 100% right now, so I'm just a little, don't worry, it's not COVID or anything like that. I'm fine, I'll be okay. Too many late nights probably, but anyway, so just a little weird today, so if I trip over my words, forgive me. No, I'm not drunk. Alright, so what we're going to do is we're going to focus a little bit on, do a little Fix My Photo, and let's just keep it cool, chill, and casual this week. So I'm going to let you guys know that we are just going to jump straight into everybody's favorite segment. Let's do it right now, Fix My Photo. And here we are in Fix My Photo. You can tell because I'm in the little window. So basically, Fix My Photo is where you upload your photos to fixmyphoto.net. I don't know if there was any problems with it, but I checked it right now. Fixmyphoto.net is working perfectly. So feel free to upload your photos, of course, for next week, because this week we've already got all our submissions. And essentially upload those pictures. Use a RAW file if you can, because it gives me a little bit more to play with. And put your name in the file name so we can shout you out and we can credit you for your photograph. And yeah, no more than 2 submissions per person per week. So if you guys are interested in that and you want to be considered for Fix My Photo, do that. All right, guys, I'm going to take you to the desktop right now. And here we are inside of Lightroom. And of course, tell the truth, Colin, you have an old-fashioned hangout. I wish I did. I really wish I had a better excuse. I do. You started with old-fashions, then you went into like one of those fruity cocktails. Then you went into martini and a few beers. Don't you know, David? Beer before liquor, never sicker. Liquor before beer, in the clear. I can see you know that, so you start liquor, go to beer, and you're going to be fine. I guess, but no. I wish, but no. Maybe this weekend. All right, so guys, and here we are. Oh, happy summer solstice, by the way. We're now in summer officially. The longest days behind us. And anyone, I don't know if it's in the same in the whole world, but here, it's a full moon tonight. So I'm going to go out and shoot a full moon. And while we're looking at full moon, here's a picture of a full moon. And this was submitted by Stephen Hodgson. Stephen, are you in the house? Let us know if you are. And let's have a look. The one next to it is also Stephen Hodgson. So I have an idea. We're going to make something fun with these 2 photos that he submitted. Let's have a look at them. So these were shot on a Nikon. I know because it says it's an NEF. And this one too. So why don't we combine these and, I don't know, just do something fun with it. I have no idea what we're going to do, but we'll do something fun. So we're going to edit these in Photoshop. Now, I might have just started with these in Lightroom and done some adjustments, but David doesn't like us using Lightroom. For the sake of you, David Holstock, we are going directly into Photoshop. Doesn't mean I'm never going to use Lightroom in this program, because obviously we will, because we also love Lightroom. All right, so we're hitting the default here, and you know what I didn't do is I've got a much better way of doing this. Let me show you something that's cool. If you want to open more than one image and you want to stack them into layers, right click and then choose, rather than open in Photoshop, edit in, open as layers in Photoshop. So that's what we're doing here, and this is going to stack them together into layers. Oh, you're welcome, David. He's like, oh, I didn't have to. Well, you know. All right, so consider that your birthday present for whenever your birthday is. I'm not sure when it is, but that's your birthday present for your next birthday. All right, so essentially what we've got here, can't see the moon for the clouds, that's funny. All right, so we've got a photo here, and then we've got a photo here, which is wider. So we've got a tall one and a wide one, and so when it does that, it just kind of puts them in here. So why don't we view the whole canvas area? So what we're going to do is choose, and I believe we already are. Let me hit Control T. Yes, we are. So this will, when it stacks them on layers, it will expand it so it can show all the photos that were selected. All right. So what I want to do is I want to cut out the moon. So many ways to do this. But the way we're going to do it is with a blending mode. So we don't have to go in and grab the elliptical marquee tool. Hold down the shift key, keep it a circle, hit the space bar to move it, nudge it until we get it, and then of course we could mask it out. Maybe add a little feather. Sounds like too much work to me. So why don't we just go and select it and change the blending modes. So if we can go to lighten blending mode or screen blending mode, I think lighten looks pretty good. And now I can reposition this wherever we want. So, you know, as you can see, it's just going to blend over the top of it. Now, unless we've got a giant person or we want to make a hat, let's put this in the background. Now, I'm looking at where the light is coming. The light is definitely coming from the left-hand side of our model here. So this is going to be a good place to start. I'm going to crop this down. And just for grins and giggles, we're going to crop it into a square. So in the crop tool, you have a lot of different options. You could do things, create presets. We can do them based on resolution or size, but we're going to do aspect ratio. So it's not going to resize the image. All it's going to do is just crop in at that aspect ratio that we're choosing, which we're going to do a square. Let's do a 1:1 square. And I don't want to delete the crop pixels. If I delete the crop pixels, what this will do is it will crop it down and resize the image. Give her fangs. Wow, look at you, Airman. All right, maybe. So if I don't delete the crop pixels and I hit enter, what's going to happen is everything is still going to be here. Let me show you. If I hit Control T, it will select the photo, and notice we don't lose anything. It doesn't cut anything away, so it's a non-destructive way of working. Yeah, Robbie, we didn't send out an email this week. We're just keeping it simple and casual. So basically, it's just, if you're here, you're getting it. And that's it. We're keeping it simple. So we just, I didn't do any social media because I don't really know what's going to happen this week. So we're just going to keep it amongst us. How's that sound? And of course, Replay Crew, you are more than welcome. And of course, Replay Crew can also submit photos. So anyway, let's make this moon larger. Control T. Even though that's probably realistic, we don't want realistic. We're going to make it huge. All right, here we go. So now we have the super... I don't know, what do they call it? Usually it's a super wolf, summer, or winter, rising moon. They come up with all these names. Have you guys noticed that? Every moon has a name. And usually the names are actually based on the time of the year, not necessarily because that's the time that wolves come out or whatever. All right, so we've got the moon happening here. Hey, Jojo, welcome. Glad you could join us. We found the site even without emails. I knew you guys were smart. And, yeah. All right, so we've got the moon happening here. We've got this. I want to do some kind of a nighttime thing. So why don't we use a LUT? Took me ages to find you. Sorry, John. If you guys want to find it, all you do is just go to YouTube, go to photoshopcafe.com, and the latest video that's going to show there is going to be the live stream, if you ever want to find it. All right, so... we're going to create a LUT. So we're going to choose the adjustment layer. And under the adjustment layer, we're going to choose the color lookup. And the color lookup enables us to apply a LUT. Now, of course, I've done other tutorials where I've shown you guys how to create LUTs. And you can look those up. Those are there. And we're just going to go down. We're going to do moonlight. So now we're starting to get the color of the moonlight. Looks interesting. It's a little strong. So maybe I'll take the opacity and we're going to bring it down a little bit. Don't like that. So we're going to drop it down underneath the moon. Not loving it. Let's just go to color blending mode and see if this gets a better result. Definitely more interesting. And we could also go to hue, but oh, that's creepy. Ooh. Okay, guys. Look at saturation. Oh my gosh. Okay, so we're going to go completely different direction with this. We're going to go creepy. I like the red eyes. That's definitely working for me. All right, so let's go. We've got a direction. We're locked in. So I'm going to choose color. And why don't we colorize her a little bit? What's a nice vampire color? Or a werewolf color. Maybe a greenish kind of a tint. Sometimes... you just start playing and then something like the red eyes definitely sent me off here. And that gave us something that we're going to work off. So what I'm doing is I'm selecting a brush. And then I put it in a new layer. And now we're going to paint with color blend mode. And what that's going to do is it's just going to colorize just the areas that we paint. Alright, so I'm just going to start with just a solid green. And if the model is watching, I apologize. This is not personal at all. We're just having fun. She probably likes the idea we're turning her into a vampire werewolf. That's not a bad thing. Especially on a full moon. All right, so let's go ahead. I'm just going to paint over the eyebrows. We can remove that later. I think it's going to be easier that way. And we'll just paint it green. Now, I have no idea. I'm not like much of a horror movie guy, just so if you guys do like horror movies, let us know in the chat. And that's cool. Just not really my thing. So I'm probably going to be doing something that's not quite the way I should be doing it, as far as like proper horror movie protocol. Alright, so let's just go for the green skin. Don't worry, we've got a ways to go yet. Alright, we are getting there. Alright, so next thing we're going to do is I'm going to change the shade of this. Let's go into a little bit more yellowy green, because I've noticed, you know, when you see organic skin and things like that. Let's drop the flow down a little bit. Generally speaking, the skin is not just one tone. Now, I feel like the darker areas tend to be, let's go here. And so what we're doing is we're applying a different shade. Let me undo that because my brush was weird. Let me check the brush settings. So now we're going for a little bit more realism. We just what we did here is we just laid down a base color. So we're brush tip shape. Yeah, I definitely want to turn on transfer. I'm using a Wacom, by the way. Pen pressure will enable me to adjust this. And I've got my flow down. Let's bring it down lower because anything above 10 doesn't seem to do a lot. And now I'm just going to gently, there we go. We're just going to gently blend in a secondary color. Because if you look at any skin, whether it be humans, animals, you're going to notice different parts, you know, that's not usually just one tone all the way over. So I'm going to have a little more yellow. See how it's starting to make it look a little more realistic? Welcome to Colin's Creature Workshop. Of course, it was not intended to be that way, but it's what we got. All right, so putting a little bit of there. See, that's starting to look a little more realistic. Don't worry, we're not done yet. Actually, the best guy I know for doing this kind of stuff is a good friend of mine, Aaron Blaise. I don't know if you guys are familiar with him or not. He calls himself the Creature Teacher. If you guys want to see some great work, check out Aaron's work. You know, used to work for Disney and is also a movie director, producer, as well as an artist. All right, so we've got some of that going on. Let's add a little bit of white. Maybe go a little smaller here and don't like that. So sometimes we can just kind of experiment and see what's happening. Let's select that greenish tone of the two together. We've got that lime green. Maybe bring it more into a yellow. And maybe just a little bit on the nose there. Let's get that right on the nose. Oh no, sorry guys. Top of the cheek. But see what happens when we start to blend in a little bit of different color. See how it starts to give us something that's going to start to resemble something that more like real skin there. Alistair is aware of Aaron. Knows Aaron? Yeah. All right. So we're sort of getting there. All right. So we've got an interesting kind of a color going on. Now we can look at different things with this color. If we look at this before and after, we can see we've added that. We could try some different blending modes. Maybe the hue might look better. No, hue does not look better. Oh, saturation is freaky. Although we're doing green, so probably don't want that. Color's good. All right, so what happens if we drop the blending mode down just a little bit? Start to blend this in a little bit more of the original skin. There we go. See, now we're starting to get a little bit more realism. So we're not blowing it out quite so saturated. Maybe a little more. What do you guys think? All right. So, I want to do something with that moon now. I'm looking at this a lot. And I'm feeling like I don't know if we even need that lot now. what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the light, I'm going to hit Control I to invert it, and then we're just going to paint it in certain places. So now that I've inverted this, see how the mask is black? If I paint with white, we can start to paint in just a little bit of that light in there. And let's do that. Just give it a little bit of that. So let's go into these eyes, because I definitely liked what was happening in the eyes there. Let's desaturate the lips a little bit. And because I've got the flow down and the opacity down a little bit, it's not completely removing it, it's just reducing it. So I'm going to reduce a little bit of the saturation in the hair. See what we're doing? Just by painting in there, it's taking it away a little bit. So we're just kind of blending everything. That's kind of interesting. That's fun. All right, let's do something with the moon, the color of the moon. Let's do this hue saturation. And you hit the alter the option and click on it, and we're just going to clip this to it. And let's see what we get here. Once in a blue moon, take the saturation down. Maybe the lightness down a little bit. It's pretty bright. There we go. That's kind of fun. Now, of course, we're going to need a little bit of blue on our model. So why don't I duplicate that hue saturation. Bring it down here so it's just on our model. There we go. Now we can reduce the opacity. So just start to get a little bit more of that blue in there. There we go. And I'm going to paint it away from the lips. Let's take the black. There we go. Back to original. Same with the eyes. I want that reddish color in the eyes. The hair. I don't mind it in the hair. What would happen if we just reduced it a little bit? Starting to get something new. Leave it on the lips, says Tracy. Okay. Sorry. We gotta have those blue lips. Gotcha. All right, back on the lips. There we go. You like that better with the blue? Singing Blue Moon, I saw you standing alone. Okay, there we go. So on the lips. Would the moon have enlarged better if you made a smart object? Not really. That's a good question, though. You're welcome, Tracy. So Donald was asking... Was it Donald? Sorry. Yes. Would it be better if we made a smart object? If you're just enlarging it one time, it's not actually going to make any difference. It's not going to make it any better quality. But if we put in a smart object and we resize it more than once, that smart object is going to maintain it. So if we made it larger, then we made it smaller, then we made it larger again, and we were messing around with it, smart object would definitely retain the quality. In the case here where we just enlarged it once, it wouldn't make any difference. Oh, yes. And that's right, guys. Smash the like button. Into dust right now if you guys are having any fun with this. All right, now I feel like I want to put some smoke or some atmosphere in here. Let's do something. Let's find out what happens. Let's add a little bit of our smoke. We'll use our cloud brush. Why don't we do that? And so we're just grabbing the brush tool. Looks like a lot of people found us. We've got 200 people here right now, so welcome. If you're new, just introduce yourself in the chat and say hi. And awesome. Thank you. Thank you for joining us. Hey, Rod. Good to see you. Glad you could join us here. All right. So what we're going to do now is we're going to add, I don't know, some kind of cloud. Now, I forgot to check. I did ask, but I forgot to check. Stephen Hodgson, are you here? We're working on your picture today, or two of your pictures. So everybody, these are Stephen's photos that he submitted. I'm going to go with maybe the soft cloud. Soft fluffy. By the way, guys, if you want these brushes, you can grab them. They're at photoshopcafe.com. Bruce is here. Don't worry, Misty. photoshopcafe.com/vault. VAULT. You can grab those brushes. If you're already on our mailing list, you get it. It's in the bottom of the mailing list. There's a direct link to it. All right. So yeah, no email. Casual day. Today's casual day, so I hope everyone's dressed in their favorite casuals. I know I am. All right, let's have a look. Let's drop this opacity down. And what we're looking for is we want to build up a little bit of a cloud effect. You're not going to see a lot because I'm going to do the subtle. So we're starting with a gray. Now, for those of you who are new to creating clouds, the trick to get some good clouds is, number one, start for low opacity. Let's get a little bit up there. And then start with a darker color. See what we're doing here? And it's a very, very low flow. So we're just not rushing. Take your time. If you rush, your clouds are just going to come in too hard and fast, and they're not going to look good. All right, so then what we do is we've got a base, just a very, very dark base. Then we're going to lighten up a little bit. But we're just going to go a little bit less, and I'm just kind of tapping with my brush here. Let's put a little bit more around the clouds there. And here we go, just creating a little atmosphere. I mean, I could drag like that, but I don't want it solid. I want it very, random, blotchy and random. All right, and see how by adding different tones, it starts to give us a little bit more body. Then we're going to go higher again. This time I'm going to hit the left bracket key a little bit and make this brush a little smaller. So now we're starting to add some of the brighter parts, but just a little smaller. Maybe bring those forward. And now I'm going to go really huge. Take that opacity down even lower to like 5%. And I'm just going to drop some stuff at the very bottom. And maybe we'll go all the way up to white now. All right. Put a little bit more of that. Okay, I got a little low. Let's maybe go a little higher with the opacity. There we go. And now just starting to add some just fog overall. And if you feel like we've gone, too far in some of the areas with the fog, which I don't think we have over the moon yet. Let's go smaller. I want to go more over the moon. We've got a weird line appearing there. We'll figure out what that is in a moment. I know what it is. Anyone know what that line is that's appearing? Yeah, we're going for spooky, Russ. I'm glad we're starting to get there. Anyone know what that line is, why it's there? Just look in your layers palette and we can see what happened. It's because we're using a blending mode for the moon. And now we're putting a white in there and it's starting to show through on that blending mode because underneath it's black. So I'll show you how to fix that. Hold down Alt or Option and click on a layer. This is how we solo a layer, by the way. Any of you do work on a DAW doing music? Solo is when you listen to a track by itself. If you want to look at one by itself, hold down Alt or Option, click on it, and that will show you that layer. Alt or Option to bring it back. The reason we do it is because if we have some layers visible and some invisible, and we right-click and we choose Show Hide All Other Layers, see how we're showing hiding all other layers, and then we go back, it'll turn on all the layers. Let me hide a couple more. This is a useful tip, guys. So see how we've got some hidden? If I Alt or Option click, it shows that layer just like before. But this time, if I hold down Alt, which would be on Windows, Option on Mac, click on the eye, it takes us back to the previous state rather than just turning on all the layers. So this is the best way to just look at a layer by itself. All right, so what I want to do is make sure we fill that canvas with the black. Lots of ways we could do that. We could just grab a black brush, paint it, make a selection, fill it, whatever we want. Here's another way. I'm just going to make a selection around the black right on the end. Hit Control T for free transform. And hold down the Shift key and I'm just going to drag it out. Hit Enter. And all we're doing is we're just extending that black. If we miss any, which we did, you can just paint with the black. Of course, I'm in the cloud brush. Let's just go to a regular brush. And make sure we're at 100% opacity and flow. By the way, 0 key will do 100% opacity. Shift 0 will do 100% flow. And we'll just paint it in. Great. Let's put all the other layers back. Boom. That line has gone. All right. That's how we fix those kind of things. 1 microcent per mile. All right. Yeah, used to use Pro Tools. All right, hardcore. I started learning Pro Tools a little bit. I can use it very little. I actually use Logic most of the time. It's just easier, and it comes with all the plugins, for what I'm doing. Works great. All right, so I'm looking at this green. It's probably starting to look a little too saturated. I'm going to bring it down. And I want to apply a color over everything. There's 2 more things to do here. Let's do a curves adjustment. Actually, you know what? Let's do a solid color first. Because I feel like I need to unify the color here. So choose a solid color. And we're going to do something like blue. Change it to color blend mode. Everything is unified, but it's too much. So what we're doing is just taking it all the way back. And then we just start to dial it in a little bit. And see, by doing 10%, see how it starts to pull everything into the same color hue. So this is getting more like what we want. Now I'm going to create a new layer, and I'm going to put this one into luminosity mode. And what I'm going to do is grab the B for brush, grab that black brush. This time we're going to go to a 10% flow. So Shift 1 will give us a 10% flow. And then we're just going to kind of just darken around the edges. Obviously not that part of the moon. And maybe a little here. And I definitely want to get it dark on this side of our model because the moon would be blocked from this side. There we go. Starting to just kind of darken that down a little bit. There we go. And we want that moonlight to be essentially hitting our model. Darkening here. There we go. Now we're starting to get a bit more realism. The cartoony look is disappearing. So we're definitely going for spooky here. High contrast. Under the nose here would probably be darker. I'm just looking at areas that wouldn't be receiving light. I don't like the way that brush is working. We will work on that. And we're just starting to get a little bit more shadow. Hey, Rembrandt lighting. See the little triangle? And we're not done yet. Just get that under there. Let's try that again. There we go. Definitely that chin, under that chin would definitely be very dark. And let's hit the X key and make sure we're painting with white. And now we can do the opposite. Oh, that's way too bright. Okay, let's create a new layer. And even though this is in luminosity mode, I wonder what happens if we change it to overlay. We might get a better result. There we go. It's a little strong. Let's bring it down. So we're just putting that shadow in. There we go. And let's put this one into overlay mode. Too harsh under the nose. Is it still too harsh under the nose, Tracy? Let me know. And now we're going to do a little bit of the light. Way better. All right, good. Now, good Colin would be making a selection around the edge here and making sure that we are getting a great selection. But lazy Colin says, you guys know what I'm trying to do. A little bit of light here. This part of her is definitely going to be getting some light. If you just joined us, welcome to Live from Lockdown. We're just playing around with a couple of photos from Stephen Hodgson. Just having some fun here. Bit more light hitting there. Going for a kind of, it's a bit early for Halloween, but hey. That's what we're going for here. Let the ear get a bit more light. All right, I feel like that's starting to come together. Now that moon itself is going to need something. I got to brighten up that moon. It's too light. So I could just go into the layer since it's on a separate layer here. Why don't we... I don't know. Am I going to get there or am I going to have to paint? Let's have a look. Let's see if we can get there just by adjusting. Oh, yeah. I'm just adjusting levels. That'll get us there. That's a lot easier to do that than it would be to... Dr. Spock is... Yeah, I love the ears. They're cool. All right, so on the top here, what I'm going to do is create a little bit of a... what do they call it? Around the moon? The halo. There's a proper name for it. One of you guys will know, I'm sure. Someone will know. Is it an aura, whatever they call it, around the moon? Because if you actually look at a moon, you get a bit of that. Is it just called a halo, or... Oh, Bruce, I can't say that. That's a planet, not a moon. All right. Okay, so we're getting there. All right. We got a little bit of a glow going on. Kind of fun. Put a volcano erupting on the moon. Well, Umbra. There we go. Tracy, the scientist. Oh, Rod loves doing this kind of stuff. All right, so that's, a little bit of fun. Just kind of playing around with that picture. So I think we're just going to call that done. Steven. We put done. Moon Halo versus Corona. All right, there we go. Okay, let's see what David says. At this point, I would neutralize the whole thing in match color and turn that effect down to 50%. I wonder what it would look like with this picture. All right, why don't we try it? All right, so I'm going to take all the layers, Command-Shift-U, Command-Shift, all the modifier keys and the E key. So I'm basically creating a stamp visible on top. And we're going to try David's suggestion, which is interesting suggestion. So let's try it. So let's do the image adjustments. We're going to go under match color. I see where he's going with that. And then we'll hit neutralize, which is going to unify the color a lot more. And we look at the before and after, and then blend the two together. Yeah, good suggestion. Let's take it down like he suggested. Maybe out there is looking pretty good. Good call, David. I think that worked pretty well. Greg wants a space station. All right. Wouldn't mind a Corona with a lime. Yeah, I could definitely go for that. We do have a space station probably somewhere in our collection from design cuts. We could probably throw those in. Let's just call that done though, just for fun, and see what else we got. Let's go to Lightroom. Let's do something different. Okay, so that's definitely very different than the before image. Oh, fun times. All right. What do we got here? Oh, I like that. That's interesting. Henry McCree. Is this yours as well? I guessed it. All right, so we've got two interesting pictures here from Henry. We've got the darker one. We've got the lighter one. Okay, guys. What do you think? You want to do the darker one or the light one? Let me know. And we will do that one on Henry's picture. Let's see what you guys like. Tracy is voting light. Ray is darker. Rod choose dark. Misty is light. So now we've got 3-2. Oh, all the lighters are coming in. John did say please, so he gets 2 votes for being polite. Stuart likes it light. Jeff, light, dark, light. Light one. All right. Oh, Linda likes the light one. Philip, light. Russ is please. So that's an extra one for the light. Oh, the lights are definitely coming in. All right, guys. So we are going for the light meat today versus the dark meat. So breasts it is, and we will have the drumsticks next time. All right. May the force be with you. Light has won. Indeed it has. All right. So we can stop that poll because we have already done it. Sorry, Lewis. All right, so we're looking at this. It's a little too light because if we can see that in the histogram, notice everything is pushed up against the right-hand side. So the big thing that moves the histogram the most is the exposure. So let's take the exposure. We're going to pull it over a little bit and kind of see where we're at with this. Because that was a little blown out, so I'm just pulling it where it's not going to be so blown out. That's kind of nice. What can we do with the highlights? Push them all the way to the left. Not much of a sky, so that's definitely going to give ourselves to a sky replacement. Let's drop the contrast just a little bit. All right, that looks like a good starting point. Maybe warm it up just a tad. Or cool it down. Decisions. Warmer? Cooler. What do you guys like? Warmer or cooler? Let me know. Why is the new histogram faded? When you do a histogram, sometimes it takes a second for it to cache, and then once it redraws it, then it redraws the histogram. Cooler. All right, we're going cooler. Definitely what you guys want. Okay. We're going to the cooler territory. All right. So why don't we open this in Photoshop, right-click, edit in Photoshop. You know, opening as a smart object is even better. Let's do that. Let's open this as a smart object in Photoshop. Is that Nessie in the water? It might have been. All right. Pop that open there. And we're looking at this. Okay, first thing we got to do is replace that sky. That's not inspiring me too much. I don't know if we do this on I forget if we can do this on a smart object. I believe we can. Sky replacement. Boom. Ooh, that's kind of fun. That's another one of my skies. By the way, guys, if you want these skies, photoshopcafe.com/vault, and you can grab those for free. If you're already on our newsletter, I receive our emails. All you need to do is just open up the last newsletter, and there's a link at the bottom there, and I'll take you directly where you can download all these extras. Just looking at different skies. This is the sky replacement tool inside of Photoshop. Can you enhance this JPEG? You could, yeah. But not once it's layered. You would have to flatten it to enhance it. Tony? Well, palm trees on top of the mountains look a little weird. Let's not do that. I'm kind of liking this. It's moody. It's fun. Alright, so what we need to do, though, is change the temperature of it. So I'm changing the temperature. We're warming it up a little bit. See that? So now we're getting the color is going to match a little bit more of what's happening in our sky. Now, what would happen if we flip this and go the other way? So we've got a little bit of color noise in there. We might have to fix that. Change that to screen. I'm going to flip that back. The screen is definitely, I think I like the screen better than the multiply. Multiply will darken it. Screen will lighten it where it meets. I think I kind of like that. Cuba has palm trees in the mountains. Wow. That's all right, Daniela. I'm glad you could join us. A rainy sky. We could definitely do that. Stormy is good. All right, so we're going... Tracy agrees with screen. All right, what can we do with our color adjustment? Let's just play around with this a little bit. And down lighting adjustment. What do we get here? This is where it meets the mountains. So if you want it really kind of foggy and soft, you go there. Let's reduce it a little bit. Bring that brightness down just a little bit in the sky. Take the temperature back because I think that was a little too much. I've got other ways that we can add some color in there. All right, I think that looks pretty good. What do you guys think? Let's apply that. So there's our new sky. Now we need to put a little color into this sky. So I'm going to create a new adjustment layer on top here. And the sky replacement, by the way, goes into this group. And I'm going to apply a adjustment on top. We're going to do a hue saturation adjustment. And we're going to change the hue. Just going to do it to absolutely everything at first, so don't worry. If it looks strange, which it does, it's okay. And we're just going to apply some color. Hold down the Alt or the Option key, and now we can clip it. And it's going to go into that sky. You know, I don't like that. Let's get rid of it. I'm going to paint in the color manually with a, well, just do a gradient. So we're going to create a new layer, grab a gradient, hold down the Alt or the Option key. We can sample the color from here. And let's do it to transparent. So we're going to do that color, that salmon color, to transparent. And if I clip that, hold down the Alt or the Option key, see how that clips it to the sky there? So everything's going to happen inside there. We could just pull that across. There we go. Too much. Let's go back. So we're getting a little bit of that color on the left side. Control U for hue saturation. And, you know, we could adjust the color of that if we want. Right, let's make it too saturated so we can dial in the color we want. There. I like that. Let's pull the saturation back a little bit. So we're just getting a little influence in there. And put the sky in the water. Yeah, we'll get to that. All right. It's starting to look better. And if you wanted to put that sky in the water, why don't I just, there's so many ways we could do this. I'm just going to hit Control J. I'm going to completely copy that sky replacement, and then I'm just going to create a new layer. Select both of them, Control E, and what that's doing is it's merging all of that sky into a new layer. This is just a quick way to do it. Control T, flip vertical. Oh, look at that. Fits right in there. Almost. Shift key. Yep. The other shift. Let's drag that out. There we go. Need to rotate this a little bit. You know what? I'm going to undo that because I just realized something. Control T. Let's flip it one more time. Did not mean to flip it horizontal, I meant to flip it vertical. And I want it to match. So notice it didn't match, but I went and started scale. I realized rotation is what we need to do. So let's fix the rotation before we scale anything. Because trying to fix two things at once, oh boy, that can get hard. There we go. So it looks like rotation might just be what we need to do. Looks pretty good. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to clone stamp that. Hold down the Alt or the Option key and stay away from the edges. Little tip for you guys. Yeah. And let's see if we can... Alright, we're going to have to do this in a couple of passes. There we go. Let's go for a lighter area. Not doing a good job of that. Terrible job. I know what it is. It's opacity. Let me create a layer mask. Hit the brush. And if we... why do I keep creating layers? Because the mask is hidden by that. That's why. Okay, so let's create a mask. paint for a little bit of black, then we can start to just kind of merge that in. The reason that works is because opacity is what's making the difference, not color. Close enough, especially where we're going with this. Okay, let's just go and... Here's a quick way to do this. This is way too time consuming. Let's grab the polygon lasso tool, or the polygonal lasso as it's known as. Let's go draw all the way down there. And I just want to move that, so we're going to choose Select, Transform Selection. The reason I'm doing that is because it's over the mountains a little bit, and I don't want that over the mountains. There we go. And I'm going to hit the arrow key a couple of times, nudge it. Great, that's more like what we want. Control T, and I can just extend that out. There we go. Ugh, terrible. All right. Let's go back to our trusty old clone stamp. Don't you guys love this? Retouching. And I'm getting a lot more perfect than I need to, because the rest of the stuff we're going to do on this is not really going to matter. Okay, so I'm just doing that over there. We're just rolling it over. There we go. This really does not have to be perfect. Does anyone else have the curse of perfectionism, though? When you know something doesn't need to be perfect and you're spending too much time on it? Okay, I'm just going to do that roughly. You guys get the idea. I don't want to spend a whole ton of time on this. So what we're going to do is, because we're dropping the opacity way down anyway, because all I'm trying to do is just get a little bit of that reflection. There we go. Could have just done that in the first place. All right, so we're starting to get that. Misty says, I'm not alone. Tracy, Lewis, yep. All right, so there we go. Starting to get a little bit more going on there. That's kind of interesting. All right, so what I'm going to do now is I want to select everything. I'm going to right click. I'm going to convert to a smart object. Now, if I had a little bit more time on this, I would probably work on the right hand side, that transition of the sky into the mountains. You know what? Cancel. Let's fix that, because that is bothering me. So what I need to do is go into the mask here, and I want to kind of just lighten the sky a little bit. See where it's hitting there? It's too strong. So let me fix it. I'll show you how to fix that. So you're going to grab that mask. And then what we want to do is, if you paint with white, it's going to show up. Black's going to hide it. So we can take a little bit of black and just gently paint over the horizon here. Being careful to make it look like a horizon and not a halo. There we go. A halo would be, you're just kind of following the shape of that. But a horizon is, you get atmospheric perspective. Yeah. Better. Better, better, better. So what I'm doing is I'm just going perfectly horizontal. Don't try to follow the line of the mountains. If you do that, it just looks like a halo or a bad adjustment. The worst enemy of good is better. That's right. And then the worst of that is best. Okay, so I've selected everything. Right-click, convert to smart object. All right, now we've got a smart object. It's coming together. This is going to enable me to go into Camera Raw and do a once-over. So if you guys are having fun, if you're having any kind of fun at all, do me a favor and hit that like button. While smart object. How many likes can we get in the time it takes a smart object to be created? So right now we don't even have half as many likes as we have people on right now. Come on, guys. Smash that like button. Helps us with the algorithm. All right, so we choose filter and hit the Camera Raw filter. And by the way, guys, if you haven't yet subscribed and you like these live streams and also you like regular tutorials, we do good tutorials, nicely, tightly edited ones. Hit that subscribe button, turn on notifications, and you won't miss any of my videos. Some of you might have come here because of a notification. If that was you, let us know. All right. So here we go. We've got everything put together inside a smart object. The cool thing about this is what we're doing is completely 100% non-destructive. So whatever we do, we can change later because we're working on a smart object. The other thing that's nice about this is if I make an adjustment, everything changes together. So that means we get to have a nice unified adjustment. So it brings everything together, kind of like the carpet, from the dude. Brings the room together. All right, let's give this a little bit of punch into the blacks. So we're going to give it a little body. I don't know about the whites. We don't want to make this too contrasty. Let's bring back our highlights just a little bit. Let's bring the blacks down. Actually, I want to punch these blacks. Watch this. So if I punch the blacks and then I go into the curve and then lift it in the very blacks, what it's going to do is, notice this gives us a body to our midtones, but it doesn't force everything to pure black. So this is a nice little trick to do. Push the blacks, give it contrast, and then lift it, and then it gives us some headroom. All right. Let's see if that helps. Bruce, you already drank your beer? Wow. All right. Maybe I lifted that not enough. Let's lift it a bit more. It's a look I see a lot of people doing. I'm going to punch up the vibrance and drop back the saturation. And what do we do here? Warm or cool? We did a warm and cool kind of look here. I think that's kind of working quite nicely. We could increase the contrast or give it punch. Reduce it brings out more detail, but also makes it look washed out. Let's leave it where we're at. And you know what's fun? We haven't done it in a while. Let's throw a vignette on there. Just for fun. So let's go under the effects. Now, there's two vignettes. There's a vignette that you get under the lens adjustments, optics. If I use the vignette here, it'll darken the edges, but the problem is, if we crop it, which it is cropped, because notice the transparent area, we'll lose that vignette on the edges. It doesn't change. So if you go under the effects instead, and you see vignette, this is known as a post-crop vignette. So we pull it down, and a post-crop vignette means that if we crop this, the vignette will move or adjust for that crop. Let's see where, I'm going to bring that feather all the way off so we can see what's going on. Change the roundness a little bit. So see, if we do it more round, it affects the whole photo. Make it less round, it hits the corners more, which is what we want. And notice you can make that vignette very light or dark. So sometimes I'll do this as I'll bring this feather down so I can see where my vignette is. And now I'm going to take the feather and just blend it in. There. Nice. All right, so if we click OK, now it's going to apply our adjustments. There we go. Here we are before camera raw, and there we are after. I don't know if you agree with me, but I think that definitely helped us. And if you want to give it a little bit of sharpy sharp, what we're going to do is hit Control J to duplicate it. And I just want to just flatten this out of a smart object, so I could just right click and all that stuff, or I just create a new layer, select the one on top, hit Control E, and it just is the fastest way just to rasterize it and apply all the smart filters. So what did I do? I just created a layer above it and then selected that and the smart object and hit Control E, and that will merge everything together in one hit, so you don't have to do all the stuff. Are we worried about non-destructiveness? No, because it's right here, smart object, camera raw, all of it's here. I'm just making a copy because I want to do a high pass sharpen. So we're going to go into overlay blending mode, and it's going to look weird for a moment. And then we're going to go under filter, other, high pass. Lovely place. Daniela is asking, where is this? I do not know. Henry McCrea says, okay, so we got Cola Red, Coca-Cola Red. I have no idea. Henry will have to tell us. So I imagine in the replay, he's going to join in. He'll see his photo, like, oh, you did my photo. And if you do that, Henry, do us a favor, drop in the comment, let us know where it is. All right, so I'm sharpening this up. There we go. Look at this. The high pass adds that sharpness, nice and crisp. And the nice thing about it is it's non-destructive. I can adjust the opacity of it if I want, but I want to keep that quite sharp because I like the way that looks. If I wanted to make it less sharp in areas like the clouds, I could, just by creating a mask, grab a brush, and then you just paint with black in this area here, and that will remove the sharpness from the clouds. Just painting over there. And maybe right here, I'm going to remove the sharpness from those too. Which is probably bad, but we'll just do it anyway. Remove the sharpness there, so the tops of the mountains and everything, getting it. And I think we're going to call that one done. Alright guys, so this week was a special Fix My Photo where we worked on a couple of images, one from Stephen Hodges. We did this fun fantasy photo from 2 of his photos. So we had a picture of the model right there, and then we kind of put everything together. I'm dropping that back down to create the fun thing, and also his picture of the moon. We put them together, did that fun thing. And then Henry sent this beautiful landscape photo, and if I didn't say so earlier, I apologize. It's a beautiful photograph. And we replaced the sky and just gave it a little bit of mood. Now, Stephen or Henry, if you want these finished ones, just contact me at photoshopCAFE. Just go to the contact section, send me a message, give me your email, and I'll be happy to email these. Of course, there's no cost or charge for this. This is just purely for fun. So, all right, guys, this has been a fun one. So if you are new here and you haven't yet subscribed, hit the subscribe button. And I'll come back so you guys can see my smiling face. And yeah, if you didn't like it yet, hit the like. And of course, every Tuesday we drop a new tutorial. Every Thursday, 1 p.m. Pacific time, we are here doing live from lockdown, where we do the live stream. This week we did a Fix My Photo super special. Usually we do it in the second half. This time we did it the whole time because we haven't done one in a couple of weeks. So what's happening next week? Who knows? Tune in and see you guys next week. All right. So that was it. Thanks, guys. Thanks for joining us. Good to see you. Gigi, I'm glad you could pop in there. John Oswell, good to see you. So Rod Shelley, glad you could join us. Jerry Powell, Klaus, of course, everyone else. I said hi to you earlier on. Thanks, everyone. Thanks for watching. See you next week.